Alright, we'll give it a fucking shot. Not safe for work. Facts that they didn't teach you in school. We'll give it a run. See how it's done. Alright? Up on the wrong side. There we go. That's a lot better. Sorry. Here we go. Ha!
R/Ask Reddit. What are some NSFW history facts that do not get taught in schools? And Frank's diary talked a lot about masturbation, but most of it was edited out. I wouldn't want to read that. It'd take me out of meme comfort zone. You need a priest.
Mine comfort zone, that's fucking
John
good.
F. Kennedy was dating Miss Denmark in the 1940s. And when they stayed at Sumter House in Charleston, the FBI bugged their room because they thought she may be a Nazi spy. Turns out they didn't hear a lot of conversation, but instead a lot of NSFW time. Tapes are in the Library of Congress for those interested. John F. Kennedy was dating Miss Denmark. Wow. Just looked her up. The reason the FBI thought she was a Nazi spy was that she was Adolf Hitler's companion during the 1936 Summer Olympics.
Oh.
You mean to say Hitler and JFK were Eskimo brothers? French President Felix Faure died getting a BJ from his mistress. He had a petite mort, followed by a grand mort. He came. Then he went. Oscar de la Hoya, leader of the infamous 36th Waffen Grenadier Division of the SS. Oscar and his men were so vile and evil that even the SS had an ongoing investigation on the group.
Wow.
They ate children, burned them alive, or feed them still alive to starved dogs.
What the fuck?
There was a particular massacre of 500 school children that stood out to me. This is an account on that event. After the door of the building was blown off, we saw a daycare full of small children. Around 500, all with small hands in the air. Even De La Hoya's own people called him a butcher. He ordered to kill them all. The shots were fired, but he requested his men to save the ammo and finish them off by rifle butts and bayonet.
Oh my fucking god, I was not prepared for this.
Blood and brain matter flowed in streams down the stairs. You know you're ducked in the head when even the SS is saying Jude, WTF.
Good god.
That's how ISIS happened. They were Al-Qaeda ejects that were crazy even by their standards. Edit. Plenty of people are telling me I'm wrong, but failed to read my other responses. Obviously I was oversimplifying it at first.
Clearly, we understand, bro. We understand, it's fine.
Actually didn't know until recently. But the core of Discovery only ate meat and had incredible constipation. One day they all ate pills they named Thunderclappers, which made them hit out everything immediately. But the pills had a bit of metal in them. So if you go out on the same trail as the core of Discovery with a metal detector, you can find the exact place Lewis, Clark and the rest of the core took the biggest hits of their lives. Edit. My top comment is now about the biggest literal hit storm in history.
That's
Thanks,
pretty good.
Guys.
That's
Do
pretty
they
good.
still sell those? Asking for a friend.
Fucking Thunderclappers, bro. I don't know if I want to take that
Just
shit.
get yourself some sugar-free gummy bears.
There you go.
Thomas Granger was the first juvenile to be executed in what would become the USA. He was convicted of buggery with a mare, a cow, 2 goats, several sheep,
Oh no.
2 calves,
Oh god.
and a turkey.
Oh my
and
god.
hung in September
Oh my
1642. Edit. Thank you everyone for educating me about the difference between hung and hanged.
Thank you.
I'll never get the image of horse peen out of my head now. Edit the second. Gilded for talking about animal buggery. What a world we live in. Buggery. Null intercourse. You're welcome. I did the legwork for you. Is this not a commonly used word in the US?
It is not at all.
In the UK I feel like a lot of people know what this means, though here bugger is a common expression of dismay akin to shouting hit when you drop something, etc. On a completely unrelated note about buggery, I once had a Japanese girlfriend who came round for dinner with my family. My mum asked, is Japan a safe country to live in?
Oh no.
To which my ex replied, yeah, it's pretty safe, except for buggery. She had meant to say burglary. My parents were struggling to keep a straight face, and then everyone lost it when my mum turns around and says, oh, it's still illegal there, is it? In addition to all the other hijinks Columbus got up to, in later years, he ran a ex-slave business from the New World. He remarked in a letter to a friend that 9-year-old girls were a particularly hot item with an ability of
of course, that all came out when, I mean, all the Columbus shitting everybody's been doing shitting on Columbus people have been doing. That's
another reason that guy was a ducking asshole.
Yeah, people
he
fucking
even gave girls out to his officers as rewards.
Yeah.
Here is what one wrote about it.
Okay, I don't think I'm gonna listen to that, but if you would like to hear it, please feel free. You know, but I'm definitely 100%. You know, when I was younger, just a couple years ago, I used to read a lot of you know, those primary sources of terrible things people would do in their own logbooks, and I am definitely over it now.
Sheep. This was punishable by death. So when they were caught, they would say that they went there to duck the sheep, which was not punishable by death. And now, after 20 goddamn years on this planet, I finally find out why the Welsh are sheep sugars. They just say they were stealing them now, to try to diminish the bad reputation.
Bad reputation.
Peter the Great scoured the Russian Empire in search of dwarfs and giants in an effort to breed a race of each. While he couldn't find enough giants, he found many dwarfs. He would bake a huge pie and have a dwarf get naked and wait inside it to jump out and scare guests. In addition to using them as regular stewards and servants and such. That was the tip of Peter's crazy.
Wow. That's insane.
He also liked dentistry so much he would make courtiers let him pull their healthy teeth. Then he would label them and put them in a display case.
Oh my god.
He had a museum of birth defects. Mostly the bodies of deformed babies killed by their parents at birth. The curator of his museum was a giant. After the giant died, Peter put his body in the museum. He thought coffins were so cool that he made them for fun.
Okay, it's getting weirder.
And legalized burying people in bags, as Russians had done. In short, Peter the Great is one of my favorite historical figures.
Okay, fair enough.
John Harvey Kellogg, one of the Kellogg brothers who invented breakfast cereal, advocated for sewing silver wire through boys' foreskin to prevent them from wanking. Strange fellow.
Wow.
Cornflakes were developed to lower men's libidos when eaten. Edit. This is going to be a till tomorrow. Is that why they put a big old cock on the box? To taunt us? Everybody say hi to the BuzzFeed interns taking notes. Notes. You assume too much.
For real.
CTRLC. When Marie Antoinette was imprisoned
which is hilarious that that's how we got here, and that's all, yeah.
The French citizens. They took her kids. Then they had her oldest son aped by prostitutes, so that he would contract their STDs.
What?
They then tried to use this as grounds to try her for abusing her children.
What?
The accusations went nowhere, so the poor kid was given a ton of venereal diseases for nothing. Edit. Spelled Marie Antoinette's name wrong. Edit.
Oh, you did.
2. Holy duck. So many upvotes. Also, to those who are asking my source, I read it on Wikipedia. I went back to try and get a more detailed source. Wikipedia's source was Nigel, Susan, 2009. Mary There's The Fate of Marie Antoinette's Daughter.
Okay.
London, Bloomsbury Publishing. P137. ISBN 978 0 7475 9666 0. Hope this helps anybody who is curious. The accusations went nowhere. Weren't the revolution?
I'm definitely gonna buy this for skidding. It's $18. You need to find an ebook.
The court's kangaroo bullshit anyway. Yes. That's how pathetic their attempts were. A court that would have found her guilty of poisoning the air by breathing found such accusations baseless. JFK cheated on his wife and was a super ex addict. Dude ducked a lot of women. Even saying if doesn't have X 3 times a day he gets headaches.
Wow.
And he had a hell of a pickup line. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for the president of your country. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask if you can do the president of your country. FDFY. The ancient Greeks were super gay. I mean really mega super gay.
Like for
My
real,
history
for real?
teacher said calling them gay isn't accurate.
It's
They
like
were
it's like omnisexual, bro. It was like the fetish of being gay was just so like high class, bro. It was just like, yeah.
Men, women, goats, plants if the mood struck them, and minerals when there wasn't anything else around. This is correct.
Yeah, this is
I
so
don't
true.
know about non-humans, so I'm doubtful of that. but they didn't have a concept for gay.
Yeah.
The only thing they really expected was that you eventually had kids, so your family did not die out.
But like sexuality, it was just like, it was like a fetish, bro.
Edit. They also were okay with pederasty. A fun fact being that Achilles and Patroclus from the Iliad had this type of relationship. We see this as in the fragments of the plain Myrmidons. The US had a eugenics program into the 70s that sterilized thousands of women.
Oh no.
Mostly black/poor. They would often do this under the guise of an emergency appendectomy post-birth. A woman gave birth to a rape baby and didn't know why she could never have children after. She was able to receive damages. Look up Buck v. Bell. Edit. And from others reminders. Native American women were targeted too.
Man.
Unsurprisingly. Aside from targeting groups, women deemed mentally unfit, ill, morally inferior, or too low of IQ were included in this.
Things people like to forget about. God, dude, things I like to forget about. It's tough, but it's healthy to know. God, I don't want to do a whole video on it though. It's kind of depressing, but definitely just look it up.
I was born on a colony that was pretty much a government eugenics program in Canada.
Word.
The government took the 100 best male students from the Indian industrial schools and the 100 best females from the Indian residential schools, arranged the marriages, and then tried to teach them to farmers. While many of the couples ended up very successful farmers, they were not allowed to sell their crops or livestock.
Why not?
Everything had to go through an Indian agent. The vast majority of the time, a lot of the crops rotted in storage as the Indian agent at the time, his name was Graham, didn't really care that the program was successful. Only that the Indians were contained. If you're wondering, it was called the File Hills Indian Farming Colony Experiment. I actually have pictures from that time period somewhere. During a sports day of some sorts with a large banner reading "The Queen Mother loves her red children."
Wow.
FYI, my great-grandparents were numbers F100 and M100.
Huh.
The 100th arranged marriage. Johnny
That is fascinating.
He didn't go around planting apple seeds just because. He sold the trees to settlers and they used the apples to make booze.
Lit.
Tasty apples are a mutation, and apples trees used to make edible apples don't come from seeds. They come from grafting other tasty apple trees. If I remember right, the taste of an apple is purely random. No relation to the apple that spawned it. Only surefire way is the grafting. Every seed in an apple will grow a tree with a different kind of apple. Apples are cloned so that the flavor stays the same.
That is something I had never known. I know what grafting is kind of, but I'm gonna look it up real quick. I would like to just see like a short thing about it. Put it in there and let it grow. Is it really that fucking simple? Holy shit. I'm sure that's oversimplifying it, but it's not that complicated of a process. Those are very not safe for work. That was very uncomfortable, but I enjoyed it. I'll see y'all around. Peace.